What's up everyone, it's Joey, Bliss Response, and today we're checking out the Nerd Sequencer. I've been talking about this one for a while, I'm finally doing the video. Let's get right into it. Alright, so we've got the Nerd Sequencer here. This thing is super powerful. I really feel like you can do an entire track on it. I have, and you can run entire live sets on it. I have. You can do an entire production from start to finish on it. I have. You can do it all. It's really the most powerful sequencer I've used. Let's show it off. Okay, you got 6 tracks of CV outs. They can also work with the expanders, like I have the more trigger outs here. And you have 2 tracks of audio built in, which is either sampling or an FM synth. And it's really cool. I'm just going to drop a new sequence down here, number 24. If you separate your sequences like this, they will loop indefinitely by themselves. If you put them next to each other, they'll loop within each other. So you can have sequences that are very long. One sequence lane is, one page is up to 64 steps. So I'm going to put a break command here. What a break command does is it tells it to go back to the first step. You can just put break 000 if the sequences are not next to each other on the grid. I got into the habit of doing 100 because that makes it so that even if your 2 sequences are next to each other, it will still loop. And I had to learn that the hard way when I first started using it because I didn't know about this spacing functionality, but it's not a big deal. So anyway, I've got the Cursus Iteritas Presido going through the Sprott. As you can see, when I put it down, I put notes, and it drops a basic trigger of 40, which is 20 milliseconds. That's like an easy trigger size. And we're going to see if we get like a whole jam with every sound being sequenced by the Nerd Sequencer. Let's get a kick drum going. I'm going to use the Basimilis. Let's get a better timing. Cool thing is you could have different sequence lengths just by putting a break command. You can do probability. So there's many parameters you can do probability on. Here's probability of the CV note. 64 is the max. So we'll just drop it low here. And then we'll do the same thing here, but for the triggers. I always like to double the command because if you leave, like if you remove all these and only have probability 34, it will apply to the whole sequence. And you have to remove it to get it working. Anyway, it's a bit heady. But okay, so for example here, I can put another probability down. For FX1, you see each thing has 4 slots of FX. These are the effects. You can insert the commands. So I'll say probability of FX1 here. And it's got a 34 probability. So now it will skip this break command sometimes and make a longer loop, like there. Let's add more triggers. The other thing you could do is add ratchets. The the second digit is the ratchets. And you can go up way high in the range and have like a random ratcheting pattern. Now I've got track 6 set up to be the more triggers expander, and I've got those triggers going to the assimilator, and I'm just gonna make like a second drum beat on top just to show you a bit what that's about. Alright, now we're building. That's just some very basic programming, and it's already quite complex. We have 4 different drum voices, 5 different drum voices, and the synth. It's pretty hectic. We'll do another synth voice. Can hear some sprot action there. Next voice is going to be the Laquelic through the through the triptych. Adding another break command before I bring it in so that it loops properly. And we'll just put a trigger like right here, set it to play. Now we'll start building that sound. We'll put it through the herb reverb. Yeah. Yeah. Let's pitch that. Now put another voice down, we'll put a hi-hat. I use the noise engineering Mito Jovis for muting and unmuting drum sequences for the Nerd Sequencer, from the Nerd Sequencer, but there's a key command to do it, but I really have trouble remembering button combos on too many things. It never works for me, so I really have trouble doing that. So I just used the Mito Jovis. Put in some offbeat hats. Yeah, why not? The other cool thing is if you put a trigger down and then keep pressing up like that, shift up, it will just add triggers with the same value. Let's slow it down. Alright. Now we got something a bit more techno going. That earlier breakbeat stuff wasn't working for me. Whatever you want to call it. But yeah, again, this is all sequenced from the Nerd Sequencer. See this crazy drum pattern here? That's the assimilator, sequence from the More Triggers expander. Right here. We'll add more triggers to that. Bring in the regular kick. Now the other cool thing you can do with the Nerd Sequencer is you can use this mod output here. You see there's one on each channel to do sort of like a CV parameter lock. So I'll send that to the master blaster on the Cursus. So you see if I do this, we'll actually use it for the algorithm. And you can see how it's changing the algorithm. And you can do probability on that as well. We'll just lower the probability on mod really low. And there you have it. We got a Nerd Sequencer jam going. It's doing everything. There's much more you could do. Like, I could take the kick channel and say I'm doing track effects. I could put an effect here that I can make it trigger another track. So I can make it trigger the hat. I can even make it trigger one, and then I can put probability on that. You can also do stuff like this table function. So basically, you select a table, and you create a table, and you can quantize a scale even. To transpose. See, and I'm glitching out the sequence. So if we listen closely, see, it's glitching it out. I mean, this thing is super powerful. It's just really programmery. Oftentimes, I get a little frustrated with it because it's not so immediate. And I just want to, like, make a sequence fast. In that case, I'll use the Octatrack or the Renee or the Stilson Hammer that I have all three of. and I love them all. The Moskwa, and you just, turn a few knobs, but then you can record whatever CV you make on there into the Nerd Sequencer. So I often use the Nerd Sequencer to archive my sequences, and also if I've made something and maybe I think, oh, I might want to bring the sequence out live, I'll record it in the Nerd Sequencer and bring it out live at a later date. And you can save projects on here, so I have live projects. You see, if I go to the load screen, load menu, you see I have many different projects, and you can copy sequences between projects. So like, okay, I'm editing this sequence and I press this shift mark and then I press shift mark again. Now that's copied. So say I can make a new sequence and press shift copy, now it's pasted. I can do the exact same thing in a new project, so I keep my sequence over multiple projects. It's cool, and of course it takes a bit of time, but it's nice to be able to do that. If your tracks get out of sync like this one is, you can press resync all tracks. Make it even shorter. Yeah. And again, that whole sequence, every sound you hear is being sequenced by the Nerd Sequencer. I think that's a big testament to its power. Let's add another track. Go to the more triggers. Add a trigger on there. Send that to the Manus. And we'll have a snare. With a bit of delay on it from the Imitor Versio. Yeah. And we'll put probability on that too. On the expanders, you can't do as many probability commands. They're limited. I'll show you what I mean. So you can see you can do 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6. It's kind of a trade-off, but whatever. And that's the Sprott that can get way out of control. It rolls. I find when you use the chaos control on the Sprott, it really has a lot of resonance. Ooh. We'll do more probability on that trigger I just added. Yeah, really psychedelic techno. And again, that's entirely from the Nerd Sequencer. You just have these 4 voices here. This is the cursus, and see it indicates the sequence here. This is the kick. This is that Laquelic thing. This is the hat from the Planck. And here you go, the triggers. Make me a phone. Gotta be careful with the resonance on the Sprott. Oh, some birds chirping. That's all the Sprott in the buffer of the Mimeophone. So that was really dope. The Nerd Sequencer is incredibly powerful. I think this video gives you an idea of how you can get something going with multiple voices very quick on it and have almost an entire track done. There's a lot of power in regards to arranging, probability, and many other features that set it far above any other sequencer I've ever used ever in any system. It does more than literally any sequencer I've used, and that makes it so amazing. Maybe something like a Circlone would have more power. I don't have experience with those, but as far as I've seen, the Nerd Sequencer is the king. Maybe even Poly and Tracker might be up there too. I don't know how that is with external stuff, but definitely in your rack, Nerd Sequencer, and I'm sure for a lot of other things as well. I really love it. Of course, the interface is not always the easiest, and sometimes you just want to do something quick without clicking buttons a million times, and you know, that's a real thing, that's a real issue it has. But at the end of the day, it is the most powerful one, and if I could only have one, it would be that, because of its internal power. So I'm gonna have the audio from this jam up on my Patreon. All the different sounds you heard will be there for you to play with and mangle. There's audio from every other jam I do, as always. You can learn from me. If you have questions for me, you can ask me them there. There's a lot of stuff going on Patreon, so please join me on there, and don't forget to smash like and subscribe here. Peace out.